Ladies and gentlemen, and Demi Lovato, welcome to the show. I made that joke in the description. I probably get in trouble for it, but I don't care. You know, this attention-seeking behavior by people who weren't getting the attention they wanted. I can laugh at it all the heck I want. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's Thursday, which you know what that means. FTG Thursday. But you know what else? Today is the theme of the day is heroes and villains, because I do have some heroes here too. And I really want to make sure that not everything has to be bad news that comes out of this show. And I've decided that every day I'm going to have at least one happy ending story that maybe I shouldn't tell you my happy ending stories. But anyway, the stories that have a good vibe to them. And I always like to finish a show with a positive note if I can. And I got a couple of those stories today. So, but the tabs are just crazy, so we should probably get this started, but I can't get it started until I play the intro. So Johnny, play the intro, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Knight.
All right, let's stop that music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet, and welcome back to the PDawgKnight Channel. It is Thursday, it's FTG Thursday, the 20th of May, 2021, and I hope that my brother-in-law understands simple math at some point. We're gonna that's a cryptic reference to a lawsuit that we have. Anyway, I'm so happy to see y'all, and I hope you're happy to see me. I have tons of tabs open, just like yesterday. I didn't realize yesterday I went through 45 stories. I didn't even realize I went through that many. And mainly just because let me ask you, I'm going to ask your opinion on this. Do you like the more rapid fire quick hit, or do you like me get more detailed in the stories? Now today, because it's FTG Thursday, I'm going to go ahead and justify having a shit ton of stories to talk about, because we're going to figure out on each story if the main focus of the story describes a hero or if it decides a villain. So it's going to be kind of a game day in a way, but also just because it's FTG Thursday, you know that a majority of these are going to have FTGs. I'm going to see if you can figure out each story who gets the FTG. In fact, you can go ahead and I don't even have to ask. Don't wait for me to ask. Just go ahead and throw that FTG in the chat, and we'll honor your FTGs. So anyway, also I got a feeling, I got a feeling that the audience might be a little light today, because I believe HB, who I share an audience with, started streaming about 45 minutes before I did. And then also, I think Monkey's streaming right now too. So that's a majority of my audience comes from those two places. So if you would be so kind, if you're here, which you are here because you would know I was talking to you if you weren't here, if you'd be so kind to share this stream. I see Assassin of the Grey did the thing on the, the thing. On the Discords, and I appreciate that. Yeah, share the stream out, because I don't know who's going to come back and who's watching and whatnot, but it'll be okay. You know what? I'll do a story if there's two people watching, because that's when I first started doing this show. For the first week, I did the show basically for two people, and that would be Johnny Hellcat and Hate Camel. They were my only audience for like the first week that I did this show. So I'll do it for two people. I'll do it for 1,000 people. I don't care. I'm here for whoever's here to see me and whoever's here to hear what's going on in the world, because that's what I do. We talk about what's going on in the world, and every once in a while we make I crack a joke about some stupid people too, which is the purpose of the show. So I do have my cup of reparations coffee. I'm trying to figure out where the where the glare comes from when I put cups up, but I did move one of my lights, and I think I fixed the problem, because you can see that pretty well, right? That's the Resist Fascism cup, and always got to have a cup of Reparation coffee. Everyone, and if you're here to have a beverage, take a sip with me. All right, let's say good morning to people who are here now. So the first person who got here after I opened up the show, or was just open things up, was Jonathan Peterson. So Jonathan, you're going to get the bell because you're first. Thank you for being here. And also, I see Keenan up here, but Keenan, you were here like 7 hours ago, it almost seems like, and I don't know if you're still here, but hopefully you are. Also, good morning to Advocates Diabli, the Devil's Advocate. Good morning, Cracker Rob. What's happening? Good morning to Ride Deos. 100% like the ratio to people hanging out. Well, that was perfect there for a while. Also, my favorite Canadian, Jaeger Ponies in the house. Good morning, Assassin of the Gray. Nice to have you here, and thank you for linking the show across all the Discords that you travel on. I appreciate that. Also, Alone is here. Always lost and nothing else. Alone is in the house. Also, good morning, Attack Alpaca. W.R. Costin. Nice to see you back. Greetings, wonderful, seeming, and wonderful adjacent people. Fantastic. And San is in the house, and also Infamous One. And if you're lurking, working, driving, or thriving without being in chat, I also appreciate you being here too, because the number on that thing does not match that thing, but that's because some of you can't have to lurk and not put things in the chat because you're doing something else at the same time. Some of you might even be vacuuming with headphones on, and if you're doing that, well, I'm so glad that you keep your house neat and tidy. So, oh, Keenan, yes, you are here. Okay, because sometimes you pop in and then you pop out and then you come back, and I just never sure if you're here. Well, Keenan, look, you were here too early, so I'm going to give you a bell. San was here early. I'm going to give San a bell. I know that you were all here early, so there you go. So, all right, let's get into this, because I got tons of things to talk about, and the first several are not necessarily related, and then I have a bunch that are related by topics. Boom, boom, and then I have just a couple of happy stories to finish off. So I got a lot to get to in a very short time, so let's get at it. So as you know, yesterday, or you probably know, we talked about it yesterday, but it's official. The House of Representatives has passed a bill creating a Capitol Riot Commission with full support from dozens of Republicans, rebuking GOP leadership, because the leadership, Kevin McCarthy and the other leaders in the House, are like, nah, we don't like how this is panning out. This is just a flog and pony show. Sorry, that was kind of gross. This is just a flog and pony show. But anyway, House of Representatives passed a bill on Wednesday that would create a bipartisan 9/11 style commission into the January 6th Capitol riot, with dozens of Republicans joining Democrats in a rebuke of GOP leadership. So that dozens is 35, so 2 dozen plus 11. Interesting the way to use that, but this is a Daily Caller saying it, so I'm going to let them use however they want to describe this. The bill passed with GOP support, even though the Republican leadership opposed it, and launched a last-ditch effort to convince its members to vote against it. Given the political misdirections that have marred this process, and given the Speaker's short-sighted scope that does not examine interrelated forms of political violence in America, I cannot support this legislation, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy said. And then let's see. But Massachusetts Democrat Representative Jim McGovern said, this moment is a choice between the truth or siding with the originator of the big lie. Okay, there we go, that big lie thing again. To my friends on the other side, I'm asking you to lead with your courage of your convictions. Well, I'm very curious, because the great selfie insurrection, now granted, there was some violence and those people should be prosecuted for the violence, but was this any worse than any other riot that happens in the country? Because it happened at the House of Representatives, as if that's never been done before. I remember when bombs went off in the Senate building, and there's all kinds of shit. But you know what? Hey, investigate it all you want. We'll take the trespassers, the ones that were let in by the Capitol Police. We'll take them all in different categories and decide what they really did, because because they keep showing the picture of the guy with the the zip ties for binding people's hands. Yeah, and they was like, oh yeah, they were gonna kidnap people and this and that, but then they found out later that guy just found them laying there and grabbed them. Anyway, I would say, should I say FTG to the 35? I don't know. It's up to you. Heroes or villains? Heroes or villains? Answer the question about the 35 in the GOP who voted to support the 35 that voted to support this legislation. It'll be interesting to see how it goes through the Senate, and I guess we'll figure that out. Okay, so let's move on. Before I do, good morning, Tyler F, Sean DW, and that's everyone so far. All right, let's move to the next story today. Federal judge says, "Oh, this is interesting." So remember when the Biden administration was doing some of the PPP loans or whatever, and the Biden administration said something about they were going to only help in the restaurant industry minority-owned businesses. Remember that? Which is kind of stupid if you ask me. Well, a federal judge has said that the Biden Restaurant Fund discriminated against a white male. Oh no.
You're fucking a white male!
A federal judge on Tuesday issued a preliminary ruling which found in Texas issued I was wondering why it said in. A federal judge in Texas issued a preliminary ruling Tuesday which found that the Biden administration's nearly $29 billion with a B restaurant relief fund discriminated against a white male restaurateur. Yeah, I guess that restaurateur. That was first day with the new lips, people. Sorry. In an 18-page ruling, the judge ordered the Small Business Administration, SBA, relief program to temporarily stop prioritizing funding applications from businesses owned by women and racial minorities over that of the plaintiff. The U.S. District Judge Reed O'Connor, an appointee of former President George W. Bush. Oh, whoops. Found that the plaintiff is experiencing race and sex discrimination at the hand of a government official. Is this judge a hero or a villain? I know my answer. Let's hear yours. Evidence submitted by the plaintiffs indicates the entire $28.6 billion in the Restaurant Revitalization Fund may be depleted before plaintiff's application can be considered for relief under the program, O'Connor wrote. The dispute rose after Philip Greer, a white male,
You're fucking a white male!
Restaurant owner, brought a lawsuit on Sunday against the SBA over alleged violations of the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause. Greer had sought to apply for a federal relief program after his restaurant, Greer's Ranch Cafe, lost nearly $100,000 in revenue during the coronavirus pandemic, but the program, which is part of the $1.9 trillion with a T economic stimulus bill passed in March, aims to give priority to groups that Greer does not fall under, namely the women's and veterans and socially and economically disadvantaged people for an initial period of May 3rd to the 24th. The judge concluded that Greer was at risk of irreparable harm because the entire fund could run out by the time the prioritized group's claims were processed. Now, here's the thing. See, this is crazy for a couple reasons. So, the program, I'm going to read this. Let's read that sentence again. The program, which is part of $1.9 trillion economic stimulus bill passed in March, quote, aims to give priorities to groups that Greer does not fall under, namely women, veterans, and socially and economically disadvantaged people. This is a fun giving money to restaurant owners to be able to pay their employees and make up for lost income. Let me say that again. This is a fund for restaurant owners, socially and economically disadvantaged people. Restaurant owners, socially and economically disadvantaged people. Restaurant owners to help their employees survive the pandemic shutdown shit, right? Anybody see the disconnect? So FTG to the Biden administration, but let's call Judge Reed O'Connor one of our heroes of the day. Moving on. Now I'm not going to play this, but if you happen to go into the links today, I have the one link that will have all the links to the tabs I have open today. So you'll be able to find all these news stories. Black Lives Matter PAC paid nearly triple the market rate for a disastrous live stream event, industry experts say. So they paid. So here it is. Black Lives Matter PAC, which was founded by Patrisse Cullors, the real estate mogul, or she's becoming one, paid an art company to run. Remember they said she was paying her baby daddy's, his company a whole shit ton of money, right? Well, this is where this is. She paid an art company run by the father of her only child $148,300 to co-produce a live stream in November record show. And it was crap. Okay. They say mired with technical issues. It was crap. And she still has it up on YouTube. I downloaded it just in case she deletes it after she starts getting attention from this article. So there's these two owners of video production companies told the Daily Caller News Foundation that they could have produced a similar event for a fraction of the cost and probably with way fewer of the technical difficulties. They were severely overcharged. Wait a minute, but it's the father of her only child. They paid way too much across the board. Video producer Tim Kramer said, I don't know how you get that much money into that production. I don't know how you get there. It's a live stream. Now, granted, because I can produce their live stream for about 37 cents, but my live streams probably don't have as many transitions and off-site stuff and whatever. But I'm going to show you one example of it. And then you could go, I'm serious. I scrolled through the entire thing just so I was getting a laugh. Every time someone talked, there was something wrong. You couldn't hear people talk. They didn't have volumes up. It was like one of my streams a year and a half ago that when you don't turn on the volume for whatever, it was a mess and their transitions were terrible. Everything was terrible. Anyway, legal counsel for the conservative watchdog group National Legal and Policy Center said the group was considering filing a Federal Election Commission complaint against BLM PAC over its excessive payments to the art company owned by Patrisse Cullors' baby daddy. Anyway, just you don't have to read the article. This is just one example of how bad it was. Is it on here? Yeah, here it is. Here's how bad it was. This is just we'll just go for a couple minutes here. Oh, that's not even where's the damn one where they actually have it? So I got to show you just at least a minute of it. I thought there was a link on here. Oh, maybe not. Well, I'm just going to tell you, it was very terrible. $148,000. And see, one of the production companies that was looking at goes, that kind of stream would only cost about $20,000 to be produced. And granted, you think it's a live stream. It's not like, it's not just, there was some production to it that would have cost, if you're doing a professional production, it costs people to do that. But they paid $148,000. Is there, here, let's see. Let me see if I can go here. Maybe this will have a little taste. Oh, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. Damn. Oh, no, that's their tweet. I don't want to show that. Just trust me. When you go into it, you can, there is a link in the story there's a link in the story here. Well, here, let's go. Here we go. Let's just show you here. Okay, it's there. Where's this part? They had a part that was specifically already set up to play. All right, well, anyway, constant problems with this stream. It was so bad, and you'll just have to go ahead and look at it yourself. I'm not going to keep going. Here we go. Let's see. This from the Daily Signal. Oh, by the way, that's definitely an FTG Patrice colors. Okay, FTG Patrice colors. All right, let's move on. Critical race theory institutionalized. Okay, so America's. You're gonna start hearing about this. You probably already heard about critical race theory, and I don't talk about it a lot because I haven't spent a lot of time studying it. I know enough about it to say that it very much is very similar to Marxism, in that there are permanent heroes and permanent villains in critical race theory, or the oppressor and the oppressed. You cannot. There's pretty much no way to wash away your original sin, and so anyway, it's very similar to Marxism, but again, I'm going to start studying it more just so I can talk on it a little more authoritatively. But Americans are right to fight back against the racial fanaticism now invading American classrooms, workplaces, and even the White House. These misguided teachings, except as holy writ by their proponents, are premised on easily disprovable propositions. The core propositions are the following: that the persistence of racial disparities are prima facie evidence of racism so deep that it is systemic, that to destroy this racism, American culture must be re-engineered through re-education mini-camps, and the only way to close the gaps through the heavy-handed use of racially discriminatory anti-racism government policies. These are the underlying beliefs of critical race theory, which is now being institutionalized throughout society. White children are taught that they perpetuate racism, whatever their feelings, and black children are taught that love of reading and writing and the use of reason are elements of white culture, and all children are taught that America is a hideous place. Yes. So you can read this article and it gives you a lot, but what's his name? Ibrahim X Kendi or whatever. That's him, and FTG to Ibrahim X, as far as I'm concerned. All right, let's keep going. Before I do, actually, let me go back just for a second here, because I do need to say, Jonas Patterson, good morning. And did somebody else come in that I didn't see as they came in? Maybe not. I don't know. Oh, Lord Stanhope, what's happening? And I think that's everybody. Yeah, we're going to let's see. Oh, wow, we're only at 20. Well, I got 23 people in the house. Make sure you hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and share the stream. That's the best way you can sponsor the show, but you can also sponsor the show with dollars through YouTube SuperChats and Streamlabs. The Streamlabs link pops up in the chat every once in a while, somewhere, eventually. It's not there yet, but Streamlabs, or just go to PDawgKnight.live right there. And that's where you do the Streamlabs donations. So, and then you don't give your money. You don't give as much money to Susan either. Hello, Data Wasteland. Nice to see you. All righty then. Well, this is kind of a humorous story if you ask me. Remember the Democratic debate when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris had that little square off moment where she's talking about that little girl on the bus that he didn't want in his, ooh, gross. There's a picture of feet on here. The little girl on the bus was her when it was busing, and Joe Biden, didn't want people, didn't like busing because he didn't want to turn his area into a racial jungle because Joe Biden's a racist. Well, apparently Biden, we're finding out now that Biden was not very happy with Kamala Harris. Man. Yeah, right, Joe. Apparently got mad over Kamala Harris's debate attack and said that was some effing bullshit. Hilarious. President Joe Biden reportedly blew up over Vice President Kamala Harris's now infamous debate moment. According to a new inside look into the 2020 Democratic primary, Edward Isaac Dovier's battle for the soul inside the Democrats' campaign to defeat Trump, Harris was initially unsure whether she should take such a personal line of attack, and Biden was pissed that she chose to do so. Dovier wrote that Harris knew at the time that her only path to the nomination required Biden's campaign to collapse. Okay, hang on. Wait a minute. At the time, Kamala Harris dropped out before the Iowa caucus. Joe Biden was fifth of 25 different candidates, or not even fit. I think he was in the middle of the pack at that time. So I'm not sure how Harris knew her at the time that her only path to the nomination required Biden's campaign to collapse. His campaign was crap at the time, but she did go after him because she knew Biden. Oh, but she was Harris. Okay, let's hear how DeVere writes it. DeVere wrote that Harris knew at the time that her only path to the nomination required Biden's campaign to collapse. But because she knew Biden personally, she was reportedly reluctant to strike the blow herself. Well, that's not the way it went with Willie Brown. Oh, damn. Did I say that out loud? Anyway, but then just before the debate, Biden made a few comments about his early days in the Senate, praising people he had worked with who were well-known segregationists, according to the book. Well, Harris allegedly responded to the comments by telling reporters, if the people he was talking about with such affection had their way, I would never have been able to be a United States senator. Still, according to Vore, she didn't like how personal this was getting. She wanted to beat Biden, but she was searching for some new way to condemn him for what he had said and done without attacking the man she liked and respected. Her campaign reportedly advised her to address the topic on the debate stage, preemptive his likely rebuttal with a statement saying that she did not believe Biden to be a racist. Oh, that's so kind of her. The only warning she got from staffers, according to the book, was that if she took the shot, Biden ultimately won the nomination. It could cost her a position in his administration. It didn't cost her a position with Willie Brown. I said that out loud again. Even shot a shot at the vice presidency. So anyway, Biden, she basically made the whole thing about, saying he doesn't think Biden's a racist, but here's why he's a racist. And Biden was pissed. And anyway, well, in fact, he allegedly said, well, that's some fucking bullshit. I have no idea who the hero or the villain is in that story. I say FTG to them both, but that's up to you, because you can put your FTGs in the chat and decide if anyone's a hero or a villain in that story. I mean, he was a hero when he said that's some fucking bullshit, but then he made her his vice president. So what are you going to do? Anyway, let's keep going. Fauci. Oh, let's just go ahead and give the FTG to Fauci because of the wonderful things he does. Fucking garden gnome. Anyway, Fauci now says that Americans are misinterpreting mask rules. Oh, here we go on here. I didn't realize I didn't put that on there. So Dr. Anthony Fauci, whose mind changes more than the Minnesota weather in springtime, the nation's leading infectious disease expert. That is not true. It's just not true. He's not. But he is the head of the National Institute of Health, but he's not the nation's leading. I'm sure there's several more accomplished infectious disease experts than Dr. Fauci. But I digress. It said in a new interview that some Americans do not have a full understanding of the latest guidelines put forth by the federal government relative to mask wearing and coronavirus vaccines. Well, Dr. Fauci, let me ask you a little question about that. Why do you think they might not have a full understanding of the latest guidelines put out by the federal government relative to mask wearing and coronavirus vaccines? Perhaps it's because you keep changing your damn minds and changing the rules. So it's very confusing to us Americans. Just FYI. I think people are misinterpreting, thinking that this is a removal of the mask mandate for everyone. It's not. It's an assurance that those who are vaccinated, that they can feel safe, be they outdoors or indoors. And then Fauci said it's not people's fault they don't understand the new guides, because in many cases, people either read them quickly or listen and hear half of it. No, we're done listening to you, Dr. Fauci. We're here to resist Faucism. And I'm done. I'm done with you, sir. You detention-seeking little garden gnome thing, whatever you want to call you. Let's move on. FTG Dr. Fauci. Good morning, Luna J. Lane and Jaded Emerald. Great to have you here. Let's keep going. Let's see this one. Oh, and then the National Nurses Union. Okay, so the CDC went with the science. Respond to me with science. The CDC went with the science and said, no, the mask mandate, we have no need for it. We can just dump that, especially if you're vaccinated and whatever, and you have immunity, blah, 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 blah. Well, the National Nurses Union has slammed the CDC's no mask guidance and calls for it to be revised. And the teachers union don't want the schools open either, but FTG to the National Nurses Union. The nation's largest nurses union is calling the CDC's recent guidance for vaccinated people to go unmasked dangerous and is pushing for it to be revised to keep all precautionary measures in place. We are calling on the CDC to revise this dangerous guideline and return to using the multiple measures of infection control that work. Wait a minute. So are they saying that the masks worked? There's no study that says they work. Now, there was a study that they did with dummies, and I don't mean stupid people, I mean actual test dummies, and they were testing if like a mask could help. It was just the stupidest thing I've ever seen. There are no empirical studies using actual human subjects and this is just a fact. YouTube don't get me in trouble. That they actually even worked. Now, granted, there might be, as Dr. Fauci would say, well, common sense means that possibly could help a little bit, especially if you put a second mask on, you could have that double layer of protection. But, I just not 100%. I don't know. I'm just making shit up. Anyway, so again, the Nurses Union, we're calling on the CDC to revise its dangerous.
You're a lying dog-faced pony shoulder
guideline and return to using the multiple measures of infection control that work, said Gene Ross, president of the National Nurses United, of which there are more than 170,000 members nationwide. The May 13th update from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention states that vaccinated people no longer have to wear a mask in most settings, a move that nurses say takes away from essential protection. Essential protection from what? If the vaccines, I said the word vaccine, I'm going to hell in YouTube land. If the vaccines work, qu'est-ce que c'est le point? Qu'est-ce que c'est le point? That means what is the point in French, and that's the only French phrase I know. Period. So don't start testing me on French language. That's the only one. Qu'est-ce que c'est le point? Anyway, good morning, MC.
Hammer time.
The NNU member speaking in a Wednesday press conference cited concerns about variants, unvaccinated children, and the burden of having to differentiate who is vaccinated and who's not. Don't care. Look, it's well been established, and this is CDC and also studies from all around the world, that children, worrying about children is probably not as problematic as whatever. Just like when some swine, the last H1N1. Remember H1N1, the flu, right? That affected children a whole lot more than adults, right? So our job was to protect children because it affected children way more than adults. So we really focused more on children. Adults who got it it wasn't as bad for them, right? Well, this one's just the opposite. We are worried about adults who are in their aged years and various health issues and obesity, right? Because who this particular disease affects the most, and children less than the other disease or whatever ailment that this disease kind of replaced on the, there's a whole bunch of this disease, but that other disease seemed to have disappeared. Yes, that children, it affects them less than that disease, because you can't say that on here either. Isn't that why Crowder got yeeted? Because he said something like that. Anyway, FTG to the nurses union. Okay. Good morning, and we're going to move on. King on common law. Good morning. Glad to see you here. Okay, let's keep going. This one, no. Now, Sam Stein, he's from Politico. He's battling critics right now over the claim that Kamala Harris is too much first black and not enough first Asian vice president. So she's not using her identity multiplicity enough, according to Sam Stein. He's invited critics to direct their fire at him over a tweet about an article that contained a claim that Vice President Kamala Harris faces criticism for focusing too much on being the first black vice president and not enough on being the first Asian vice president. On Tuesday, Politico tweeted an article by Anita Kumar with the headline, "How Kamala Harris Became a Victim of the Barrier She Broke." Oh, she's a victim. Oh, no.
How dare you?
Poor Kamala. After nearly 4 months in office, Kamala Harris faces criticisms that she hasn't struck the right balance, that she's focused more on being the United States' first black vice president than the first Asian American one. The tweet read, a direct quote from the article. And Ms. Kumar is a veteran White House correspondent and pioneer in her own right, the first Indian American to be elected to the board of the White House Correspondents Association. Oh, good for her. My gosh, what an accomplishment. But the article, the tweet, received a blistering amount of blowback. Much of it focused on the fact that the article backs up the premise that the tweet, with only two quotes, one from a tweet responding to my, okay, let's just stop this nonsense right here. People are pissed because of whose identity politics that they can do and whatnot, and I don't give a I would just say FTG to them all for making this a major focus in an article in a Mediaite site. So FTG, oh, this is by Tommy Christopher. And I like Tommy Christopher too, but I wonder if so this gives me the idea that he might be mocking these people a little bit. But FTG Sam Stein and FTG Politico and FTG Mediaite for giving a crap about any of this stuff. If she does her job well, I don't care if she's a Mongolian high priestess with rickets. It doesn't really matter. Moving on, before I do, though, thank you, Chicago Mike, the first sponsor of the show today. Thank you, sir. Who said, with a $4.99, who says, at work and have to watch later. Also, hi, Marty and chat. Well, thank you very much, Chicago Mike. Thanks for popping in and popping out. And if you find anything interesting, do me a favor and throw a comment in the comment section. You know we love you, brother. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Is this just some? Oh, now this is this. I'm gonna have you. You're gonna have to decide, villain or hero. This is one of the stories that I wasn't sure how to classify this. So please listen carefully, because I need you to throw in either hero or villain at the end of after the end of this one. So apparently this is from NPR, and this is the tweet. And there's an accompanying article which I will have both. In the links at my, I have the one tab link where I put every story I cover, will be in that link. It'll be in the one tab link. Here's from NPR, and you have to decide hero or villain. A fungus that emits a kind of amphetamine is infecting some of the cicadas. You know, the cicadas that are coming back after 17 years, and there's going to be the big thing. And they were talking about how they're going to make recipes and eat them as, delicate cicada tacos and shit. Anyway, the fungus that emits a kind of amphetamine is infecting some cicadas, causing their genitals to fall off while prolonging their sexual stamina and making them want to obsessively mate with everyone. Now, because they basically screw their own genitals off because they're so. But I got a feeling. Listen, I got a feeling. I got a feeling that perhaps the obsessive mating with everyone. Look, if your species only pretty much comes out not that way, but if it comes out once every 17 years, I think that's the purpose of what you're doing during your very short time on this earth. But anyway, everybody, the NPR, this is just the tweet. The story is also here. Everybody, quote from the story, everybody's having a good time while they're infected, one forest pathologist said. So I don't imagine there's much pain, maybe a desire to listen to the Grateful Dead or something like that, but no pain. Okay. Hero or villain? Who's okay? And also determine who or what is the hero or villain. Because look, it causes them their genitals to fall off, but prolonging their sexual stamina. So I'm wondering if the genitals fall off during the prolonging of the sexual stamina, and then they just basically. Okay, let me use a phrase that may be appropriate. They fuck their own dicks off. I might get a yellow dollar sign for that one, but I think I waited long enough in the chat before I said the F word. There you go. Hero or villain? Oh, there's the NPR story. Pushing cicada sex into hyperdrive and leaving them dismembered. There you go. Unmembered. After 17 years underground, the Brood X periodical cicadas are slowly emerging in 15 states across the East Coast and Midwest. They also go to Quad City, Iowa, as we ran into them when we were down there at the end of Ragbri, if you're familiar with Ragbri. But anyway, it's crazy. But anyway, the fungus infects them and makes them lose control, lose their damn minds, and they want to just... What was that comedian that used to do that? Bang, 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 bang. That's what they do. Oh, maybe the fungus is the hero. We don't need another hero. Good morning, Brutus. Guess what you just walked into? Come out, you black and tans. Come out and fight like a man. Yeah, there you go. All right, here we go. Let's keep going. After long, now so I'm kind of getting into the Israel, Gaza, Palestinian conflict issue. I got a few articles on that. After a long night of Israeli attacks, Palestine silent for 8 hours. Palestinian terrorist rocket fire has fallen silent for 8 hours, according to Israel's army radio, after a long night in which the Israeli Defense Forces pounded Hamas and Islamic Jihad positions in Gaza. On Wednesday, President Joe Biden continued to urge Israel towards a ceasefire as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that Israel would continue Operation Guardians of the Walls as long as necessary to silence Palestinian rocket fire at Israel. Overnight, the IDF attacked Hamas's air defenses and underground tunnels. Earlier in the evening, a Palestinian rocket misfired, as roughly 20% of the rockets do. And then what you're seeing here, yet another rocket launched by terrorists that misfired and fell back into Gaza tonight. So several of these rockets, like they said, they blast these rockets out, attempting to drop them into Israeli cities, civilian areas, because they just don't care who they kill. And a lot of times they misfire and go right back into Gaza. And they said early on that a number of the children that were killed in Gaza were rockets that misfired and fell back into Gaza. So, I'm sorry. This is controversial. FTG to the Palestinians who are Hamas and Islamic Jihad. They cause much of their own misery. And FTG, man. Good morning. Hey, Jedi Ghost Bear, how you doing? All right. And then a Pakistani member of parliament has called for nuking the Jewish state. That's constructive. Foreign adversaries around the world are wading into the conflict in Gaza, denouncing Israel's right to self-defense, with some openly calling for the use of nuclear weapons against the Jewish state. I got a feeling that someone who would say that doesn't really understand how nuclear weapons work, and also the proximity of Gaza and Israel. This is some this is some scary talk. I'm sorry. Pakistan accused Israel of war crimes in a United Nations Security Council statement, but some officials are urging direct aggression. A Pakistani member of parliament, Maulana Chitrali, advocated on Tuesday in a Tuesday televised speech for full-blown jihad against Israel, even urging the use of nuclear weapons to assist the terror group. Did we make atomic bombs to show them in a museum? We don't need missiles, atomic bombs, or huge army if they can't be used to liberate Palestine. Yeah. FTG to that guy. What's his name? Or him? I don't even know if it's a man or female. It must be a male because it's Pakistan. They probably don't have any females in parliament. Oh, no, actually, that's not true. I know they've had a female prime minister at one time. Here's a spelling, and you can throw your own little FTG in there. FTG. I'm not doing a lot myself, but Jesus Christ, or lack thereof. All right, moving on. Also, this is fascinating because this is a 30-second recording that can tell you the difference between the Palestinians in Gaza and the Israeli forces. Okay, I'm just going to play it because I'm not going to read the whole article. You can read the article. But here's a 30-second conversation between the Israeli Defense Forces and a Palestinian in Gaza. You can understand who's choosing life and who's choosing death. A shocking phone call, must watch. Now, I'm going to have to probably, since it's in, I believe they're speaking in Arabic in this particular call. So I'm just going to, I'll translate if it doesn't show up in English here. So it says, I can't get all the people out. I need at least 2 hours to get them out because the Israelis said they're going to attack this place where the rockets are coming from, right? And the Israeli says, listen, we are going to bomb the building. You want to bomb whatever you want. No, brother, we need to do everything we can so you don't die. We want to die, but you have responsibility for children's lives. If the children need to die, then they'll die. God forbid, God forbid. Why would you want to die? This is how we reveal your cruelty. So this is a human shield shit, and FTG to them for that. That's terrible. That's just, it's disgusting. And now, then Biden was calling for this ceasefire, and Netanyahu said, "Pound sand, you old feeble freak." Netanyahu's response to Biden's demand for significant de-escalation today. Joe Biden talked to Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for the 4th time this week, telling him he expects de-escalation. And I think Netanyahu's probably just said, "Hey, you're not the boss of me." He expects de-escalation with the conflict with Hamas terrorists today. Netanyahu reportedly told Biden that he was determined to carry on with this operation until Israel's military objectives are achieved. I especially appreciate the support of U.S. President Joe Biden for the right to self-defense for the state of Israel, tweeted Netanyahu. I am determined to continue this operation until its goal is achieved to restore peace and security to you, the citizens of Israel. International pressure has been building in recent days for Israel to end its retaliatory strikes in response to Hamas rocket attacks, but the U.S. is standing firm at the UN, blocking efforts by the Security Council to take action. And then they have some shit from the Washington Compost. So far, Israeli forces have destroyed more than 60 miles of underground tunnels, struck 80 rocket launchers, and killed at least 130 militants. A senior Israeli military officer said Wednesday the officer gave an initial assessment on the condition of anonymity according to military protocol. He said Israel has had a factory of targets that have been prepared for years in advance to be used when the opportunity arose. Israel has achieved many of its objectives, but there's still work to do, he added. And again, basically, they have Netanyahu sitting here. Basically, here's Netanyahu's statement. We will continue for as long as necessary in order to restore quiet to all citizens of Israel, Netanyahu said during a tour of Hatzerim, Israel Air Force Base, hinting that operation in Gaza was also intended to intimidate Hezbollah with the threat of an Israeli attack. I am certain that all of our enemies around us see the price for aggression against us, and that they will too learn the lesson. And that's just how Israel works. If you fuck with them, they fuck with you back in spades. And then my last, I think this is my last one about that. Is that right? Nope, oh yeah, this is my last one about the Israel thing. Here in Los Angeles, a pro-Palestinian gang has seeked out Jews and began attacking them. This is some what do they call it when terrorism and hate crimes. So here's a they got I'm not even gonna show you these videos, but there's attacks in Beverly Grove in a restaurant. Then also here moments ago, a group of pro-Palestinian attacks a table of Persian Jews at Sushi Fumi in Los Angeles, just outside of WeHo City or West Hollywood. Yeah, they're just attacking people in the streets now. This is not good. I think the police might want to get on that, but who knows where the police are in Los Angeles or any other city in America right now. But FTG to these assholes. Let's keep going. Now, and here's another reason to FTG Joe Biden. So Biden, now that he's in office, has decided that he's going to release some terrorists, including Osama bin Laden's guard, Al-Qaeda bagman, and the KSM aide from Gitmo, but guess who's still in jail? Amid all this talk from Democrats that the January 6th Capitol riot was, quote, another 9/11, it's odd that they're now perfectly fine with releasing some of the very aiders and abettors and terrorists of the actual 9/11 attack. It also seems inexplicable that the Biden administration would release actual terrorists while holding some of the people from the Capitol riot for months for what is tantamount to trespassing. But here we are in Joe Biden and his party's version of America, just us. The New York Times reported this week that Biden's lawfare group has cleared 3 terrorists to be released from America's Guantanamo Bay terrorist lockup. Remember now, former Attorney General Eric Holder and other lawyers in his Obama-era DOJ were among the terror bar defending Gitmo terrorists. Please note that many, if not all, of the terror bar would never consider defending the Capitol trespassers or rioters. They have their standards. Sniff. And just who are the people cleared to get out of the facility at a U.S. naval base in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, after close to 2 decades in prison? Well, spin the wheel on the terror tote board, shall we? First is Saifullah Parasha. Reporters like to point out that he's 74 years old and suffering from diabetes and other ailments. Back in the day, there were no impediments to the wealthy business owner allying himself with Al-Qaeda and putting all of his formidable businesses into the service of the 9/11 terror group. They've got all kinds. They got his bio here. Look, they're naming a bunch of people, but let's just put it this way. They're part of the plot to destroy the World Trade Center buildings that was successful and killed thousands of people. Period. You know, I think they could stay in for life. Anyway, FTG Joe Biden and his administration. Real quick. And I already told you 35 House Republicans voted for the bill to establish a January 6th commission. Here's the names. I'm not going to type them out. I just think, again, this is a flog and pony show. If you want to know who they are, the article will be in the link of links. Also, now this is interesting though. So there's this mysterious anonymous letter that Democrat Jamie Raskin circulated claiming that Capitol Police upset that GOP were crushing the January 6th commission. Good morning. Why are you so angry? I didn't see you there. That's a name, not a question. An anonymous letter circulating on official House email accounts that originated with Representative Jamie Raskin's office claims that U.S. Capitol Police officers are upset with Republican leaders over their opposition to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's January 6th commission. A letter, a copy of which a Republican Hill staffer received an email and provided to Breitbart News, is typed on USCP letterhead and claims to be from proud members of the United States Capitol Police. And so here's a copy of the letter. Here's what it says. We, the members of the United States Capitol Police, write this letter to express our profound disappointment with the recent comments from both chambers' minority leaders expressing no need for a January 6th commission. The brave men and women of the USCP were subjected to hours and hours of physical trauma, which has led to months of mental anguish. If you look around the Capitol building, you still have doors that are broken, windows still smashed, in some cases missing. Officers are forced to go to work with the daily reminder of what happened that dreadful day on January 6th, where some officers served their last day as the U.S. Capitol Police in uniform, and not by choice. We would hope that the members whom we took an oath to protect would, at the very least, minimum, support an investigation to get into the bottom of everyone responsible in capital letters and hold them to 100% accountable, no matter the title or position that they hold. See where they're going with this? They have this letter. Now, I got an update to this letter. It is inconceivable that some of the members we protect would downplay the events of January 6th. Member safety was dependent upon the heroic actions of the United States Capitol Police. It is a privileged assumption for members to have that point of view that it wasn't that bad. That privilege exists because of the brave men and women of the USCP protected you and the members. Lastly, with each passing week, the new revelation about January 6th reveals itself. A new indictment comes to light, another newsreel of USCP officers being assaulted is released, or some breaking news regarding... Now, okay, let's just stop here. Every week... Now, I'm not... Again, let me remind you. My position is that the people who committed violence, actual violence, should be prosecuted and charged. The people with trespassing should get their charges and their fines and whatever they need to do, right? The people who assaulted officers should be absolutely charged, convicted, whatever time it takes to be in jail. However, it's funny how that's happening all over the country. Assaulting officers during protests. Gee, there's just no consistency. And the federal charges against many of these people that have been dropped all over the country, and also the local charges that have been dropped all over the country. It just seems odd that this is the only group that seems to have that problem. You know, I don't know. But on another note, the U.S. Capitol Police deny involvement in riot commission letter that mentioned GOP leaders. Oh no! Wow, shoot! I missed my cue there. The U.S. Capitol Police Department has denied involvement in writing a letter that expressed disappointment at recent comments from GOP leaders opposing the creation of a January 6th commission. The letter, which circulated online Wednesday, shortly before the House of Representatives voted in favor of the commission, was allegedly written by a number of Capitol Police officers and appeared to be on official stationery. But the department has denied involvement in the letter, noting that it doesn't take stances on proposals. A statement is circulated. Quote, here it is. Here's the U.S. Capitol Police Twitter feed. The USCP does not take positions on legislation. A statement is circulating on social media which expresses an opinion about the proposed legislation to create a commission to investigate January 6th. This is not an official USCP statement. The department has no way of confirming it was even authored by USCP personnel. the U.S. Capitol Police does not take positions on legislation. So, where did this originate again? Representative Jamie Raskin. Let me think about that. Did I spell that right? FTG Jamie Raskin. I think he's a full of shit. Let's move on. And speaking of police, 20% of the Seattle police force has quit following defunding and Black Lives Matter riots. After budget cuts and months of Black Lives Matter and Antifa rioting, Seattle Police Chief indicated Wednesday that nearly 20% of the city's police officers have left in the past year and a half. The support that we had in my generation of policing is no longer there, veteran officer Clayton Powell told CBS News, concurring with interim police chief Adrian Diaz's statement. More than 260 officers have quit the force since the beginning of last year. Wow. That's not good. That's not good. And I don't know, you can read the rest of the article, but I don't really have hero or villain or FTG for that story, but it's FTG to the city of Seattle, who, you know, and their weird, crazy city council and mayor. They're not quite Portland, but they might as well be. So now I know that we've never really seen Donald Trump's taxes, but you know, Robert Mueller did a very thorough investigation of Donald Trump, including some of his financial transactions and dealings, right? And just never pressed any charges or anything. And but also there's no hint that Donald Trump hasn't had any tax problems. He's been audited many times, but you know, that clearly none of the audits caused him any problems because they got through them. Well, now, you know, Joe Biden, now he thinks it's important that we take your tax money from you. And he says for people over $400,000, which he made over $400,000. And he's, you know, he's talking about the loopholes and this and that. Well, apparently Biden's returns show that Biden has dodged $500,000 in taxes while urging tax increases. He's part of that above $400,000 that he keeps talking about not paying their fair share. And now it's apparently he hasn't paid his quote unquote fair share. Now, first of all, I actually admire Joe Biden if he dodged $500,000 in taxes. As long as he did it legally, using the legal loopholes that you have in, you know, the legal incentives. Stop calling them loopholes. They're incentives for somebody. Every little tax change in law and whatever has always been an incentive for somebody, particularly with the business ones, you know, the ones who, you know, don't pay any tax because they go into the special zone and that where you can write off everything and this and that. And no, that's what they do. But anyway, on Monday, the delayed due date for federal filing of taxes for the calendar year, the White House made a theatrical show of releasing President Joe Biden's 2020 tax returns. In doing so, the new administration wanted to show the contrast between Biden's predecessor, Donald Trump, who did not release his tax returns and had no obligation to. There's no law that tells you have to. Just because it's a tradition, this doesn't mean it's a law. But while the White House emphasized the release of Biden's returns, it does not want reporters to scrutinize the content of those returns because doing so would highlight a pattern of hypocritical behavior by the current president and his family. To wit, for the fourth year running, the family used a questionable tax loophole. Again, I do not have problems if somebody finds a tax loophole that allows them to pay less taxes. Good for them, especially to find a way to do it legally. Good for them. But they said they used the questionable loophole to avoid paying more than $500,000 in Medicare and Obamacare taxes, a loophole that the Biden administration now claims it wants to close. Well, of course they do. Anyway, it's just, it's because let's see. The loophole comes because Joe Biden and his wife Jill categorized much of their book and speech revenues as profits from two corporations they created rather than as taxable wages. Oh, really? So they incorporated so they could pay less taxes? That's fucking brilliant. That's what you wanted people to do. Oh my God. Come on.
Come on, man.
And even though that he, wants people to pay more taxes, particularly in his tax bracket, I have no problem with this. But it does show just a little bit of hypocrisy. Just a little bit. Joe Biden showed a little bit of hypocrisy. He didn't pay all his taxes that he would have paid if he didn't use the loopholes. Anyway, so much for that. But on that note, FTG Joe Biden anyway. There you go. Watchdog Group. Oh, they filed a complaint, an IRS complaint over Gretchen Whitler. Good. They should. Watchdog Group files IRS complaint over Gretchen Whitler's private flight. A conservative watchdog group. Now, who is the... Okay, Michigan Rising Action. Filed a complaint with the Internal Revenue Service over a nonprofit-sponsored private flight for Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitler that she took to Florida. Remember she went to Florida? They still use this unfortunate lighting. At least this is not the one that makes it look like she was doing some chloral action. I didn't really enunciate that very well, and I'm not going to repeat it. Michigan Rising Action alleges Whitmer, I'll say her name right at least once, improperly benefited from nonprofit funds that were used to pay for a private charter flight she took to Florida to visit her father on March 12th. Michigan transition 2019, a 501c3 for whatever nonprofit that paid for the flight was founded in 2008 to pay for Whitmer's inauguration expenses. So she commandeered a couple businesses' planes and got herself a little private jet to Florida. I see it now. So here it is. Whitmer did not initially acknowledged taking the trip for weeks, but refused to disclose how the flight was paid for until her administration released a memo last week revealing Michigan Transition 2019 funding the trip. The purpose of the trip was to visit her chronically ill father and assist him with household duties like cooking and cleaning. According to a statement, Whitmer's office said she contributed $855 of her personal funds toward the $27,521 cost to take a private flight. I spent $855. That's like plane flight, right? The flight cost $27,521 out of her what funds? Or something that people gave for her to campaign with? Who was she campaigning to see down in Florida? Good God. Anyway, also from the same publication, John Ossoff said Apple profits. Oh, by the way, that is definitely an FTG. She is definitely a villain. Okay. I didn't even ask the question. Hero or villain? She's a villain. Let's go to John Ossoff, who actually sort of in a halfway was a hero until the second sentence of the story. John Ossoff said Apple profits off abusive practices, and he's invested millions in Apple. FTG to this jerk off. Senator John Ossoff publicly criticized Apple's business practices while holding millions of dollars in shares of the tech giant. Senate financial disclosures closed. Oh my God. If they did no hypocrisy, they would not be alive. In the Senate hearing last month, Ossoff quizzed Kyle Andier, Apple's chief compliance officer, on reports that the company had failed to regulate fraudulent iPhone applications available on its app store. fake app developers have built customers out of millions of dollars in subscription fees, according to consumer watchdogs. Ossoff, however, has a stake in Apple this last year worth between $1 million and $5 million. Oh, good Lord. Anyway, FTG Ossoff, damn Skippy there, MC.
Stop. Hammer time.
Hi, Debbie. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Who's that does that? What's her name? The goofy talk show host woman, the big head, big everything. How you doing? That lady. Can't blanket on her name. All right, let's keep going because I got to get through a lot more tabs and I only have 20 minutes to do it. Report: Biden Labor Secretary delayed investigation into abusive cop amid confirmation. Labor Secretary and former Boston Mayor Marty Walsh's mayoral administration delayed an investigation into an abusive cop in the middle of Walsh's confirmation process, according to a report released by the Boston city government. The Democrat administration appointed an independent investigator to look into allegations that a Walsh-appointed police commissioner abused his wife, abruptly ordered the investigator to wrap up the investigation, according to the report, as Walsh prepared for a Senate confirmation vote to become the Secretary of the Department of Labor. The report, written by an external law firm, revealed that the investigation into Police Commissioner Dennis White began February 12th, just one day after a Senate panel voted to advance Walsh's nomination to the floor. The auditor told city officials she had expected to complete the report in 4 to 6 weeks, but ran into immediate roadblocks. On February 22nd, the Walsh administration ordered the outside investigator to halt her inquiries and gave her just 2 days to report her findings. Oh, we were looking at you, dude. And now he's going to be part of the Biden administration. Fantastic. All right. What's the next part? Oh, no, I don't want that. Rochester Mayor Lovely Warren's husband taken into custody amid a criminal investigation. Oh, good Lord. Rochester, New York Mayor Lovely Warren's husband is in custody after state troopers executed a search warrant at her home. Warren's husband, Timothy Granison, was the subject of a criminal investigation and was detained by law enforcement, according to the Rochester Democrat and Chronicle. Troopers executed a search warrant at the Democrat's house as part of an ongoing criminal investigation, New York State Police said in a brief press release. No other information was provided by law enforcement officials. And is that the end of the story? The mayor is just learning about the events that unfolded this afternoon and has no more information than the rest of the country. That was, somewhere in the middle of that. And Rochester City Communications Director Justin Raj said in a Wednesday night statement, according to multiple... what? Oh, I see. That was just something... That's who said that. So anyway, boy, I don't even know where to go with that. I can't remember why I pulled that one out, but FTG to... what's his name? Timothy Granison. Now, again, I shouldn't say that. Innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. So, guess we'll find out. President Trump, by the way, did weigh in on that 9/11 style commission of the January 6th selfie insurrection. And can you imagine what his response would be? Just sit back, take a sip of your coffee or beverage or beer or water or wine or tea or milk or whatever, and sit back and ponder how Trump would react that the House voted on a commission, a 9/11 style commission regarding the Capitol 6 riots. Just think about that for a second. Well, Trump eviscerates the... God, I'm reading the wrong story. This is about the criminal probe into the Trump organization. Remember, Letitia James made the big announcement yesterday that this investigation, which was a civil in nature, may now be considered a criminal inquiry. She's not announcing any charges. She's just announcing that now the investigation is into a criminal inquiry. Now, let let me tell you something. So I was thinking about this because I was in the mortgage business for quite a while, right? And I know a few things about that. And I was pondering the fact that what they're trying to get the former president on is the fact that when he was getting loans from Deutsche Bank, that he overinflated the value of his properties, right? And then undervalued them for tax purposes. That's what they're trying to charge. But here's a major problem with that concept. When you get a loan on some sort of building, right? When you get a loan on some sort of building and you use a mortgage to attach that loan to the property so that they can, if something goes bad, then they can get their money back by taking the property from you. The company that is giving the loan just doesn't say, hey Joe, what do you think? Let's use a different name, Charlie. Hey Charlie, what do you think this building's worth? What do you think your building's worth? And then Charlie tells you what the building's worth, and then the lender, the people doing the lending in this case, they don't go, oh, well, that sounds about right. Fine, we're going to loan based on what you tell us the building's worth. Is that how it works? Anybody? Does anybody know how it actually works? The people lending the money, send their own appraisers out to figure out the value of the asset that they're giving you a loan on. They don't take your word for it. You could say it's worth $200 trillion quadzillion dollars, but the lender's not going to loan you money based on what you saying that. They're going to come out and get their own appraisers and do a complete analysis, especially on commercial property. Have you ever seen a commercial appraisal? A commercial appraisal can take months depending on the complexity of the building and the profit and loss of whatever feed, right? Banks have their own yes, Lord Stanhope, they have their own appraisers. They don't take your word for it. So it doesn't matter what Trump said it was worth to Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank's responsibility to their own bottom line is to make sure that they have at least somewhat accurate appraisal of the value of any property that they're lending you money on. It's not the person who is taking the loan that determines the value of the property. It's the person who's giving the loan who determines that and how much money they're going to lend you on that particular building. So, is this just some bullshit witch hunt thing? Anyway, here goes Trump. On Tuesday, Attorney General Letitia James announced that her office would join the Manhattan District Attorney in a criminal investigation into the Trump Organization. James had begun investigating the organization in 2019, but her office recently launched a criminal complaint. Former President Donald Trump condemned the investigation in the harshest of terms. Quote, now this is, this is the DA spokesman. We have informed the Trump Organization that our investigation into the organization is no longer purely civil in nature. We are now actively investigating the Trump Organization in criminal capacity, along with the Manhattan DA. James spokesman Fabian Levy told CNN, "There's nothing more corrupt than there is nothing more corrupt. Oh, this is Trump. There's nothing more corrupt than an investigation that is in desperate search of a crime. But make no mistake, it is exactly what's happening here," Trump said in a statement on Wednesday. The former president said he learned from the criminal probe, the legacy media coverage of the criminal probe from legacy media coverage. He framed this as one more witch hunt after nearly 6 years of relentless attacks. This investigation came after Trump was under investigation from the time I came down the escalator 5.5 years ago, including the fake Russia hoax, the 2-year, $48 million no collusion Miller witch hunt, impeachment hoax number 2, and others. The Attorney General of New York literally campaigned on prosecuting Donald Trump even before she knew anything about me, the former president said. She said if elected, she would use her office to look into every aspect of my real estate dealings. She swore that she would definitely sue me. She boasted on video that she would be, and I quote, a real pain in the ass. She declared, just wait until I'm in the Attorney General's office. I've got my eyes on Trump Tower. She also promised that if elected, she would join law enforcement and other attorney generals across the nation removing this president from office. And it's important that everyone understands that days of Donald Trump are coming to an end, Trump added. Indeed, James targeted Trump while campaigning in New York for New York Attorney General. In August 2018, before she won the race, James said the president of the United States has to worry about three things: Robert Mueller, ex-Trump lawyer Michael Cohen, and Tish James. We're all closing in on him. Yes, the walls are closing in. But yeah, that whole he overvalued his properties to get loans from lenders. No, sorry, there's no way you can do that because the lenders are the ones who determine what they're going to lend on, and they use their own appraisers. Thank you, but then you keep just looking into that, Letitia. I don't care. The walls have been closing in on Trump for how long now? Oh, since 2015. Shall we move on? FTG. Letitia James. There we go. All right. Hi, Amy. Hello, Amy in Connecticut. And also Bosch, too. Nice to see you here. Moving on. Oh, 5 Oregon counties. Yeah. Well, we heard about this a while back that they were thinking about this. Now they've did it. 5 Oregon counties voted in favor of seceding to join Idaho. 5 Oregon counties approved measures Tuesday to secede and join Idaho, despite the chances of it actually becoming a reality. Voters in Lake, Grant, Baker, Sherman, and Malheur counties approved measures requiring the county officials to take steps to secede and move the Idaho border further west in order to encompass the counties, according to The Hill. 2 other counties, Jefferson and Union, voted in favor of the measure back in November. Yeah, they don't want to be a part of Oregon because Oregon's just stupid. Oh my gosh, look at this. All right, wait a minute. This is not a small area either. Look at, okay, so this is, what is this a map of? This map doesn't make sense. So now, wait a minute. Did I read that wrong? Where's the, here it is. What the hell? What? Oh, just start scrolling. So are they joining Washington? Did I read that wrong? Oh, no, they're all Oregon counties. Anyway, Greater Idaho is a different thing. Yeah, no, I realize that. They, but anyway, these counties want to leave Oregon because the state of Oregon are a bunch of nut jobs. So I'll leave the tweet in the tabs too. Not that or whatever. This is from Oregon Live. So they have a whole different thing here. But anyway, question: heroes or villains? Put it in the chat. All right, let's go here. Let's see. Oh, and if Gunfox is around, if you watch this later, Gunfox, after a surge of violent crime, progressives win big in Pennsylvania's largest cities. Chicken, egg, I don't know. Progressive candidates were victorious in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh Democratic primaries Tuesday. Oh, these are the primaries. Well, who cares? I want to see who wins the actual elections. Progressive candidates were victorious in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh Democratic primaries Tuesday night, winning races by wide margins after a year-long surge in violent crime. That seems counterproductive, doesn't it? In Philadelphia, Progressive District Attorney Larry Krasner cruised to a second term, beating moderate police-backed primary challenger Carlos Vega by 30 points, even as multiple reports pointed to potentially close race. In Pittsburgh, Progressive State Representative Ed Gainey ousted incumbent Mayor Bill Peduto by approximately 7 points, making him poised to be the first black mayor in the city's history. Krasner, who was the first elected in 2017 on a platform of criminal justice reform, told supporters Tuesday that he kept his promises to focus on crime within the city. This time, they put us back in office for what we have done. Well, what you have done? What the hell are you talking about? Crime is huge up in Philadelphia. So no ideas, not promises, but realities. Well, yeah, if you want to double the murder rate again. Anyway, FTG to those guys. Moving on. But, I don't know if you saw Biden's Coast Guard speech. The one that he literally stole almost word for word from Ronald Reagan. I can't remember where it is. There's somewhere on, I can't find it. I think Monkey did it this morning, played it, but it shows where he stole like whole passages from the speech, directly from a speech Ronald Reagan gave the Coast Guard a while back. Anyway, he called the Coast Guard cadets a dull class when they didn't laugh at his joke, because Biden's so hilarious all the time. President Joe Biden insulted the graduating Coast Guard cadets because they didn't laugh at his botched joke. Biden and his handlers didn't even come up with the gag. Vice President Dick Cheney told the joke to the Coast Guard graduating class in 2008. Same joke. He's plagiarizing Dick Cheney. Here it is. Biden and his please clap moment. Let's see if this on Politico this works. Let's try it.
I can only assume that you will enjoy educating your family about how the Coast Guard is, quote, the hard nucleus around the Navy forms in times of war. You're a really dull class. I mean, come on, man. Is the sun getting to you?
Oh my gosh, he just insults them. It's just embarrassing.
I would think you'd have an opportunity when I say that about the Navy to clap, but being here together.
Oh, yeah, you please clap. Oh.
But all kidding aside, being here.
All kidding aside, all doubts about your lack of self-awareness aside. Yeah, so the joke was the Coast Guard is the hard nucleus around the Navy, forms in times of war. You're okay. He botched the joke, first of all. Let's see. Here's the joke. It appears that Biden botched the joke that Cheney repeated in 2008. The actual punchline is, they are saying in your line of work that the U.S. Coast Guard is the hard nucleus about which the Navy forms in time of war. If you don't get it, that's okay. We'll just keep going. Don't forget the stream and to like and share. Yeah, like and share the stream, please. Thank you, WR Costin. I appreciate it. Also, what's happening? Paul Farrell, nice to see you, man. Oh, you were here earlier. You've been here the whole time. Never mind. Whatever. All right. Democrats block Kevin McCarthy's. Okay. So we're getting to the coronavirus section, and I'm out of time, but I'm gonna finish these up real quick. So the articles will all be in the single link in the description down below. Right after the show, I will update that link, put it in the chat, and put it in the description and on Discord, so you can find any of these stories that we talked about today. If you want to use them for whatever you're doing, you might be, if you're a video creator, you can use that, and so on and so forth. All right, so Kevin McCarthy had a resolution to update the House mask policies based on the CDC guidelines because everyone in Congress is vaccinated. Well, not so fast. The Democrats blocked the House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy's resolution to update those House mask policies in light of the CDC's revised guidelines, which I just said twice. McCarthy, along with many House Republicans, introduced House Resolution 414, a privileged resolution that would direct Congress's attending physician to update the House mask policies in light of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's updated guidelines of masks, and Democrats said, fuck off. So, FTG to the Democrats. I think McCarthy's doing the right thing. And quickly, thank you, Gamer Villians, for sponsoring the show. The $1.99 through Super Chat said, Jeb lost weight. Please clap. Yeah. Yeah, he just did that feeble old man weight now. Oh, by the way, did y'all see him driving the thing with him driving the Ford pickup truck at some tarmac, whatever, they were a test drive track, and they was zooming around along the tarmac, and then he came around to the reporters and said some bullshit, and then he sped off. And then, well, if you look today, look for the the second steering wheel in that vehicle. It was a training car that, like when you do driver's ed and they have two steering wheels, two sets of brakes, two sets of gas pedals, and everything on the right side of the vehicle, all the driver utility on the right side of the vehicle overrides the driver utility on the left side of the vehicle. Yeah, they were trying to make Joe look cool, and the press that were there were definitely giving them the requisite taint cleaning that they like to do with their taint tongue baths. Because and then someone tried to ask him about Israel, and he said, "Well, yeah, I'll answer that question if you jump in front of the truck and me hit the gas." Whew, that was rough. Anyway, there's also a new book out that says Jill Biden talked smack about Kamala Harris in the words of, "Go fuck yourself." An uneasy relationship between Jill Biden and Kamala Harris just got harder to paper over. The obviously ghoulish expectation that VP Harris will succeed her doddering husband without benefit of an election, and the signs of rebellion from the Veep make a relationship between the two women testy at best. Should death or the 25th Amendment remove her husband from office, Dr. Jill loses all the status and perks of the presidency, which she obviously relishes. Going back to teach remedial English to community college students might lose some of its appeal, with Vice President Harris hovering in the background, waiting to step up. It is understandable for Ms. Biden to harbor suspicions and resentment. Anyway, excerpts from a new book says something that she said that was something to the effect of, fuck that bitch. Anyway, you can read the article yourself. I don't know what it was from, but yeah, the "go fuck yourself" line. Okay, hang on. So here, let's read just this excerpt. Let's read the excerpt. Right before the debate, this is back when she did the busing thing with Biden, tried to paint him as a racist after prerequisiting that with, I don't think he's racist, but here's why he's a racist. Right before the debate, Biden garnered controversy for comments he made at a New York City fundraiser, fondly remembered the days of civility in the Senate when he used to work with people that he didn't agree with, including two Democratic senators who supported his segregation. Oh, you mean like one of the ones that he did the eulogy for at his funeral? That was a former KKK member. But I digress. I was in the caucus with James O. Eastland. He never called me boy. He always called me son, Biden said. Well, guess what? At least there was some civility. We got things done. We didn't agree on much of anything, but we got things done. We got it finished. Well, so did Kamala Harris. Never mind. Harris, who is biracial, confronted Biden on the debate, saying, I don't believe you're a racist, and I agree with you when you commit yourself to the importance of finding common ground, but it's personal, and it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. Harris then hit Biden over his controversial record on school busing. There was a little girl in California who was part of the second grade class to integrate her public schools, and she was bused to school every day, she said, and that little girl was me. Freedom. So I will tell you that on this subject, I cannot be an intellectual debate among Democrats. Biden responded, it's a mischaracterization of my position across the board. I do not praise racists. It's not true. He also cited his time working as a public defender for the cause of civil rights before becoming a senator. After the debate ended, then candidate Biden leaned to his right and said, well, that was some fucking bullshit, to a fellow 2020 candidate, Pete Buttigieg, now his Secretary of Transportation. DeVere wrote, citing people he said were told the remarks. But also, the aides could do, this is another part of the book, the aides could do the political maneuvering after Harris's attack. Jill was and is the guardian of the Biden honor, and his pudding cup. The Biden she could not bear to watch a woman who called herself a friend of her son's, though Beau was not her biological child. She raised him his entire life as if he were, to try tearing her husband down to score a point at debate. With what he cares about, what he fights for, what he's committed to, you get up there and call him a racist without basis, she said on a phone call with close supporters a week later, according to multiple people on the call. Go fuck yourself. And the First Lady's press secretary, Michael LaRosa, does not deny that she made the explicit remarks. So, Jill Biden, hero or villain? I'm going to go with hero. All right, now let's just get through the last headlines, lots of them, because I'm going to do one last thing. Robert Massey, another Republican, files a threat of no mask fine from Pelosi in a trash can. They've been threatened. A bunch of the Republicans, because of the CDC guidelines, all fully vaccinated, have been not wearing masks in the House of Representatives. And apparently Nancy Pelosi has been sending out letters warning them that they will be fined $500 a day. And Robert Massey threw it in the trash can. That's the story. It's in there. I'm not going to read it for you, but that's the gist of it. Also, the Senate is going maskless now, but the House keeps the face huggers on. Nancy Pelosi's not letting go of her face diaper. And, the CDC be damned, even though everyone in the House of Representatives is vaccinated. Apparently, she doesn't believe the science. She blinded me with science. Also, did a House GOP report prove Fauci lied to Fauci relied to Congress? Well, here you go. Here's what I think. According to the report, significant circumstantial evidence raises serious concerns that the COVID-19 outbreak may have been a leak from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. And they have lots of reasons why that they think Fauci lied while testifying before Congress. You can read the article. In the New York Post today, St. Fauci's a lying sinner. More Fauci lying articles. I'm going to just say it's simple. FTG, Dr. Fauci, and hashtag resist Faucism. There you go. So a couple reasons, a couple of articles about Dr. Fauci lying. Also in COVID stupid 19 news. Hey, remember when the Ohio governor, they said they were going to put your name in a little drawing for a lottery or something for $1 million if you get your Fauci juice jabbed into your arm. And then also they had a drawing for youths who get their jab, could be a full ride scholarship to any of the Ohio State University system universities. Well, the vaccine rate in Ohio has jumped significantly because of that. You know, a lot of people want to win some money. I got the stab. You've got the juice. Let's make lots of money. Okay, moving on. In the Federalist, more fentanyl seized at the border so far this year than all of 2020. What month is it? May. They have seized more fentanyl at the border than the entire year of 2020. Great news, right? Way to go, Border Patrol and Joe Biden with the new rules. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Yeah. Rashida Tlaib, connected to anti-Semitic activists who compared Israel to Nazi Germany, suggested Jews don't belong in the Middle East. That story will speak for itself. You can read that one. Also in the tabs, that'll be in the description down below. Google Docs. Oh, this one. Google Docs changes autocorrect algorithm to be more inclusive. Oh, yay. Yay. I'm so happy. Google Docs will now make more inclusive suggestions and edits in its predictive text algorithm. The technology will now correct gendered words such as mailman to mail carrier and chairman to chairperson. On May 18th, Google held its virtual I.O. developer conference. The Daily Mail reported that the new update to Google Docs will suggest ways to avoid offensive language and gender. Oh my God, and gender language. So I'm going to test this here because I use Google Docs all the time for writing shit than taking notes. So I'm going to try to use really old style gendered language and see if it makes the suggestions. And then I'm going to tell Google Docs to fuck right off and type it the way I want to anyway. And we'll see if it allows me to do that. So there you go. Hello. who is in the house. Okay, I got to keep going because I want to do my one story. That's the happy story of the day. Pelosi. Oh, now here's one that this is one time where I go, okay, as much as I can't stand Nancy Pelosi, this one makes me go, maybe she's not all bad. She actually verbalized the thought that maybe boycotting the 2022 Olympics in China because they're committing genocide. I am dumbfounded that she even suggested that for that reason. Because of communist China's human rights abuses, particularly its genocidal treatment of Uyghurs and other ethnic minorities, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has called for the United States and other prominent nations to boycott the 2022 Winter Olympics in China. What I propose and join those who are proposing is a diplomatic boycott, which lead countries of the world to withhold their attendance at the Olympics, Pelosi said at a hearing Tuesday. I'm not a fan of boycotting the Olympics and making a political thing, but you know what? I don't know. I'm having a hard time disagreeing with at least the sentiment, not necessarily the action that should be taken, but the sentiment. Yeah, wow. I'm not sure who this woman is because, I can't make the Chinese happy. In the Daily Wire, Utah legislature passed a bill that would ban face mask requirements for public schools and universities. Hero. In the Washington Free Beacon, an Asian discrimination appeal, Harvard talks out of both sides of its mouth. Now, this is kind of talking about how, Harvard does, they urge the Supreme Court to reject a challenge to its affirmative action policies that discriminate against Asian Americans. But then I think they also talked about how Asian Americans are discriminated against. You can read it. It shows a dichotomy that doesn't make sense. In the Daily Wire, the university, they rescind an offer of tenure to the creator of the 1619 Project, according to a report. Now, some people are assuming it's because conservatives pounced, Conservatives pounced. I'm saying that maybe some people have realized how shoddy her scholarship is, but they already offered her a job, but they decided, you know what? Hey, you can keep the job that we offered you and you 5 years of teaching at our university, but we're not going to give you tenure until you can prove that you're not going to write down some bullshit. How's that sound? That's all I have to say about that. From the Federalist, amid an obesity epidemic, NBC is calling for a hot, fat girl of summer. You know how they always have some kind of girls of summer, whatever. And NBC is like, wants you to do some shit about having fat girls be the hot girl of summer. And I just don't know how that works. And, we do have an obesity epidemic, and people who are most likely to die from COVID are obese people, but they want to come up with some hot girl of summer who's fat. And it's just some woke ass mumbo jumbo. But let's get to the last story that I really wanted. I have three. Two stories to finish with. One has two different articles, but this happened in Idaho. A teacher says she hugged school shooter after disarming her. This is an absolute hero. This is a hero. An Idaho school teacher who disarmed a sixth grader after she opened fire at school earlier this month is breaking her silence for the first time. Krista Needing, a math teacher at Rigby Middle School in the small town of Rigby, about 15 miles northeast of Idaho Falls, was preparing her students for final exams on the morning of May 6th when she said she heard a gunshot from down the hall. She said she looked outside her classroom, saw the school's janitor lying on the floor and at the end of the hallway. She said she shut the door and she heard two more gunshots. I just told my students, we are going to leave. We are going to run to the high school. You're going to run hard. You're not going to look back. And now it's time to get up and go, Needing recalled during an exclusive interview with ABC News that aired Wednesday on Good Morning America. The sixth grade student at the school had taken a handgun from her backpack and opened fire just before 9 a.m. local time, wounding two students and one adult, according to the Jefferson County Sheriff's offices. The girl shot two of the victims in the hallway before moving outside and shooting the third victim, the sheriff's office said. All three victims are expected to survive. Needy told ABC News that she was helping one of the students who had been shot when she saw the girl holding a gun. I was a little girl and my brain couldn't quite grasp that, she said. I just knew when I saw the gun, I had to get the gun. Needy said she looked at the girl and quietly asked, "Are you the shooter?" I just walked up to her and I put my hand over her hand. I just slowly pulled the gun out of her hand and she allowed me to, she said. She didn't give it to me, but she didn't fight. And then after I got the gun, I just pulled her into a hug. I thought, this little girl has a mom somewhere that doesn't realize she's having a breakdown and she's hurting people. Needy said she called 911 from her cell phone as she embraced the girl and holding her until police arrived. After a while, the girl started talking to me and I could tell she was very unhappy, Needy said. I just kept hugging her and loving her and trying to let her know that we're going to get through this together. I do believe that my being there helped her because she calmed down, she added. When a police officer arrested the girl, Needy said she explained to her that he needs to put you in handcuffs. She didn't respond. She just let him, she said. He was very gentle and very kind. He just went ahead and took her and put her in the police car. The Jefferson County Prosecutor's Office I don't need to read the rest, just that the girl's name is about released. But this is absolutely a hero. Again, Krista Needing, teacher at Rigsby Middle School in Rigby, Idaho. And then finally, the last story of the day, this is absolutely another hero. A deputy lifts up a car to free a woman underneath. A Virginia deputy could be seen on video lifting up a car to free a woman trapped underneath. Gloucester County Sheriff's Department John Holt jumped into superhero mode after he saw an out-of-control car flip over last May. Officials released a body cam video of the incident on Tuesday, and Holt spoke to 13 News Now about this effort. And he said, so I was on the scene. I observed the vehicle upside down and with one of the juvenile occupants outside the vehicle as Holt bolts down. Well, here, I'll just show you the video and we're going to finish with this. This is from, who's the outlet here? It is 13 News Now from Gloucester County in Virginia. Where's it at? Hang on a second. Oh, here. Let's stop this one. Here's the video. It's about a minute long.
One in Gloucester, it's flipped upside down.
So this is him running to the car.
Is he under it? Gloucester, it's entrapment.
So there's one kid inside.
She's trapped under the vehicle. I can't get it off.
Mommy!
Gloucester, her head's pinned.
Calm down.
Come here, buddy. Come here.
So he gets the kid out of the vehicle first.
There's a pillow.
Okay.
And you can't see it, but he's lifting the car. All right, so anyway, that is the video. And so definitely this officer is also here. The officer's name is, where is it here? Sheriff's Deputy John Holt. Absolutely a hero in this situation. And that's all I got for today, gang. So, hey, before you do anything, please, if you haven't already hit the like button, go ahead and knock that like button off the shelf, and so it activates. And also, if you haven't shared the stream, share the stream. Also, if you want to donate or become a sponsor, you can do that through SuperChats or Streamlabs or Venmo or Cashapp, 24 hours a day on the last 3. And if you're watching on replay, please put a comment in the comment section. Let me know you were here. Even if you're here now, let me know you were here, and put a comment in the comment section later, because some of you didn't see the whole show. You might go back and watch the rest. Put a comment in the comment section just for the hell of it. Tell me who you're. Oh, in fact, here's what I want you to do. For those of you who are still here, tell me who your favorite hero and your least favorite villain of the day are from FTG Thursday. That's what we'll do. All right. That's it for today, people. I definitely got to go and Again, I'll be back tomorrow at the normal time, Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. That's it for today, though. I got to go. My name's PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thanks for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.